Hi again, this is Ashley and welcome to my channel. I'm actually going to do my first book review today. As you may know, I love to read, I love books, I love talking about books. I probably use my Goodreads app more than any other app on my phone. I'm constantly on it on my computer and I'm just a little bit obsessed with books, and I have a ton of them. I have a ton to read, and I win books from the Goodreads giveaway all the time, and I'm actually going to talk about a book that I won. So I won the Heirs by Susan Rieger from a Goodreads giveaway. It's an uncorrected proof copy. As you can see here, it's not for sale, and I don't think I'm going to sell this book. This is probably my favorite book that I've read so far this year. I gave it 4 stars, and I'm going to tell you why. So this book is about a couple, a husband and a wife, and their 5 sons. The husband dies, and the book kind of picks up as he dies and talks about what happens afterwards and his heirs. So this book is really beautiful. It's set in Manhattan, and so it's about an elite, well-to-do Manhattan family. And in the first chapter, the wife, Eleanor, she talks about her family. So she introduces the reader to her family, her husband and her 5 children, their 5 sons. Their names are Harry, Will, Sam, Jack, and Tom. They all are married or have a partner, and so we kind of get introduced to them. We get to learn about their personalities and what they do in their careers. And then the following chapters they focus on the story from one person's side of it, but it just adds these layers of intrigue and depth to all of the characters. And Rieger, she kind of slowly builds these delightful characters by layers, and they stay true to how she writes them throughout the entire story. And you just kind of get these layers and this build of characters, and you're just like, oh my gosh. And they feel so real, like you could just reach out and touch them in this story. It's beautiful. So to me, this book really focuses on the intricacies of life and the intricacies of people, and how people flow in and out of your life as you grow older. And those things are captured so beautifully in this book. We see relationships that mean so much to one person that on the flip side, the other person, it doesn't matter to them. It's just kind of a surface level relationship. We see actions that have repercussions decades down the line, and we see people sacrificing their happiness or their curiosity, to that human curiosity to do what is right by society's standards. Eleanor, before she meets her husband Rupert, she has a relationship with a man named Jim, and they really love each other, but their parents don't agree to the match because he's Jewish and she's Christian, Catholic, and their parents don't agree that they should get married, and so the relationship ends. The relationship ends because their parents deem that it's not right. She's too good for him because he's Jewish, and his family isn't as well-to-do as her family is. And her family, she's the only child, and they have these elite names, and they're a big part of the Manhattan society, and they live in the right part of town, and she went to the right schools and has the right education, and Jim doesn't. So their relationship ends. One part that was really hard for me to read in this book was there's a lot of adultery and infidelity, and it doesn't take away from the story, but it's hard for me to consume stories that have those elements to them. I really grew to love this family, and it was hard for me to see some of them, you know, give up parts of themselves to other people, because they're all in relationships, married, or, you know, Sam, he's gay, and so he has his partner Andrew, and throughout the story almost every character cheats on their partner, and that really hurts, and it just, you know, it's really hard to kind of cheer for them when, you know, they're not necessarily the best people all the time, but humans aren't always the best people all the time, and everybody has flaws, and so do the characters in this book, which is one reason why it's so great, because, I mean, she doesn't, you know, provide stuff that shouldn't be there. It's a really good study of the human nature. And I believe that the strength of this novel comes from the delicate way Susan Rieger handles people's personalities and their relationships and just the general human nature. It's very beautiful. So The Heirs by Susan Rieger, it comes out May of this year. I really suggest you pick it up. I gave it 4 stars. I love this book. It's my top book of the year, and I've read 13 books already this year, including this one. You should definitely check it out, and those are my thoughts on this book. Thanks for stopping by.